I will move to the other game and the final incident that I wanted to talk about today that again created a lot of discussion over the course of the weekend. This is in the Bulldogs and the Warriors game on Saturday. And in this incident, Jaeman Salmon collides with Te Maire Martin, and Jaeman Salmon actually injures himself in this tackle. But again, I wanted to explain what takes place in this. I'm not going to play audio for you because it doesn't really add much to what happened, but I will show you the incident. There weren't, again, this is not an excuse, but there weren't very good camera angles of this, and you think there's a lot of cameras around the ground, but because the play is moving away from where the collision takes place, there's only a couple of angles that really give you a fair indication of what does happen. But the game continues here. It does stop, of course, because Salmon is injured. But whilst this continues after this collision, the bunker spends a considerable amount of time looking at the various camera angles, trying to determine whether this contact on Te Maire Martin was high. So whether there was contact with the head or neck, because it is a high velocity collision. And in these types of collisions, there is often contact with the head or neck of the ball carrier or the player who, in this case, who's just passed the ball. So the focus of the bunker was trying to determine whether that high contact did take place. So we'll look at the incident first. That's just happened there in the background. This is another angle of it. So you've got to be quite quick to pick these up, but I'll slow it down and show you exactly what we're talking about. So you can see here, if we go back to the first angle, so here comes the pass now, and you can see Salmon approaching. Ball's gone. There's the contact. I mean, they're both upright, so again, these are the types of tackles that can go wrong and can involve contact with the head or neck. And you can see that they both fall to the ground. Play continues for a moment until it stops for the injury. If we go to the second angle, again, this is from behind, so you'll see runs with the ball. This gives you an example of how far the ball's travelled after it's passed. So you can see the collision hasn't taken place at this point just yet. Just here, this is the collision that's about to take place. And of course, the ball at this point is over here. And at this point, we're just about to see the collision. The ball's going past that left-hand upright. And again, you can see that it looks like Jaeman Salmon goes underneath or below the head and neck, and it's mostly body-on-body contact. But the bunker did spend all of their time in this review trying to determine whether this was high contact or not. What they didn't do in this case was give due regard to the tackle being late or the contact being late, and whether the defender could have pulled out of this tackle or not, or at least reduced the velocity of it when it takes place. And what the match review committee did, of course, as everyone now knows, is the match review committee did give due regard to the late nature of the contact and the fact that the ball had been passed. Again, they found no evidence of contact with the head or neck, so he wasn't charged because of contact with the head or neck. He was charged with dangerous contact because of the late nature of the tackle. So the real question here is, should this have been penalised on field? And the answer to that is clearly yes, it should have been. Not because it was high, but because it was late. And I know this was at a critical time of the game. The bunker did review the incident, but they didn't give due regard to the issue of lateness. So we think this is a miss by the match officials, and it's unacceptable, but that's what took place. And I just wanted to make that absolutely clear how it came about, what they were focused on and what they actually missed. So that's how we got to this outcome. It does happen very quickly when you see it in normal speed, but again, that's not an excuse. It's perhaps part of the reason, but it's not an excuse for it being missed, because with the benefit of a replay, it should have been picked up.